Welcome to InsectTech's Ethical Hacking course videos, module Web Application Penetration Testing. In this video, these are the concepts that we have to look at, but these are very similar to what we have discussed in penetration testing module. Introduction, types of web application penetration testing, process and methodology, methods of penetration testing, limitations, and what it takes to become a good web application penetration tester. All these concepts are very similar to what we have discussed in penetration testing module. So in order to understand these concepts, please go through the module penetration testing, but in this video we'll look at whatever that is required for especially web application penetration testing. We'll see. Process and methodology is also very similar to what we have done in penetration testing module. So the first one is planning and preparation. We'll plan and prepare for the test, and we'll perform some information gathering about the target. We'll perform vulnerability detection using some manual testing and also some automated testing, and we'll try to penetrate into the web application if we are permitted to do so. And finally we'll analyze and report the vulnerabilities we have found, and finally we'll perform cleaning up process once after completing the entire process. Now what is important in this particular video is we'll look at manual testing. One is with the tools like burpsuit, live HTTP headers and temper data, and automated testing, which is actually with IBM App Scan and Akinetics Web Vulnerability Scanner. And we'll also use ZAP, which is Z-Attack Proxy, which is actually by OWASP. Let us actually add it over here. ZAP Proxy. And finally we'll look at Samurai. Samurai is a framework which is actually built for web application testing, and in that we some vulnerable applications such as DVWA, which stands for Damn Vulnerable Web Application, WebGoat, Mutilidae, all these kinds of vulnerable web applications are already installed. So we can practice our exploitation part on this Samurai. Burpsuit, live HTTP headers and temper data are for manual pen testing, and IBM App Scan and Akinetics Web Vulnerability Scanners are automated scanners. All we have to give is we need to configure the site we have to scan, so that IBM App Scan and Akinetics Web Vulnerability Scanner will automatically scan the remote site, and ZAP Proxy will have the features of both manual testing and automated testing. And finally Samurai. The important point here is we are going to use Samurai for most of these tools. For example, if you want to use burpsuit, we can use it within Samurai. We can use live HTTP headers within Samurai. It is very similar to Backtrack operating system, which we have used for attacks. Backtrack is for especially that is moreover Backtrack is used for network penetration testing, wherein Samurai is especially developed for web application penetration testing. So let us have a quick demonstration of burpsuit. Burpsuit is actually a proxy. We can intercept the traffic using burpsuit. I'm just going to launch DVWA, which is Damn Vulnerable Web Application, and we can launch a burpsuit right from the tools here. I'm going to use the add-on Foxy Proxy to launch my burp. So I'm just checking it. Now burp has been added, so I'm just going to launch my burpsuit over here, which is under Samurai, Recon and Mapping and burpsuit. This is actually for manual pen testing. We can manually intercept the request, and we can modify the request, and we can do many more. Let us have a quick demo of it. is taking time again. In DBWA we have a couple of vulnerabilities. We can see brute force, command injection, CSRF, file inclusion, SQL injections, and alright, burp suit has been fired up. Now we can see before actually using burp suit we need to check these alerts. You can see proxy service started on port 8080, and then go to proxy and go to options. You can see it is running on port number 8080. So we need to configure a browser to use this proxy on 127.0.0.1 and on port number 8080. Since I'm using Foxy Proxy add-on, this Foxy Proxy will automatically set those settings into my browser, so that I'm just checking this option. So now I have configured my browser to use burp proxy. We can intercept the request just by checking this intercept is on. This is already on. If I don't want to intercept the request but I want my request to be passed through my burp proxy, then I need to set intercept to off. For now I'm just intercepting the request. Let us just click this XSS reflected. The request will be sent to burp proxy, and I'm just checking it, and you can see it has two parameters right now. I'm just forwarding the request, and now it has intercepted again, and I'm just forwarding it. That's all. This is how we can intercept and forward. Now how do we use it for vulnerability testing? Let us check this DBWA security to low. Okay, it is actually getting intercepted. I'm just putting intercept to off, and let us make it low so that the vulnerability or the security level is low. And now put my intercept to off, and I just want to check for reflected XSS and forward it. Forward. Now enter some data into this form, for example Srinivas. Click submit, and now intercept the request over here. You can see this is the host, which is DBWA, and this is the rest of the URL. We can see it is passing the parameter name, which is actually Srinivas we have entered, as a get request. So what I'm going to do is I'm just modifying this to script alert XSS, or else let us test it for hacked. Now what I'm doing is I'm just modifying this specific parameter value to this specific script. I have replaced Srinivas with this script. Now if the particular URL is using post method, it comes handy. We can use it, we can intercept the post requests as well, and we can replace those post parameters as well. I'm just clicking forward, and now you can see, great, an alert box has been opened. Now without actually coming to this browser, just by understanding the response in this, you can see I'm just you can see here, this is the original request we have sent, which is having the parameter value Srinivas, and this is the edited request which I have modified, and you can see the response inside the body. you can see the script has been inserted inside the body of the response. So this is vulnerable to cross-site scripting. This is how we can use burp suite, burp proxy for intercepting requests, and we can use it for testing for vulnerable applications. And now let us quickly go back to our presentation. So once after understanding these manual and automated testing tools and couple of manual techniques which we have seen in other modules such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting, cross-site request forgery, web server attacks, after understanding all these attacks, this is not needed, this is not enough to become a good penetration tester, to become a web application penetration tester, because every day new web vulnerabilities will be coming and we need to understand, we need to update ourselves to become a good penetration tester. So if you are really interested in this web application penetration testing, InsightX is actually offering one more course, which is web application penetration testing, which is WAPT. You can go through that. And that's all for this web application penetration testing first video. Thank you.